My husband, your father, we love him so much, but he just caused me to have a little bit of a breakdown. So we do our bath time routine at around 7:30 to 8:30-ish, just around then. I have a routine and I'm sticking to it because he's sleeping through the night now and I love it and I'm very happy. Well, we do bath time and I have 2 washcloths, I have 2 towels and everything every night. So 2 nights ago, I didn't have any clean ones and I was like, okay, I'm starting this. Make sure, please, it was at night, make sure, please take everything out and put it in the dryer. No, I had put it in the dryer. He was working on the computer and on voice, so we couldn't turn on the dryer because it's in his office. So I was like, make sure you do it. I reminded him 3 times. I texted him. I was like, please make sure you do it. So yesterday, when we're starting bath time, I run down there and I open up the dryer and guess what I find? I find the dryer full of wet, moldy, musty towels with a dryer sheet in there. He put a dryer sheet in there. Thank you, honey. So I said, okay, please, I'm putting the towels back in here. I'm redoing it. Please put them in the dryer before you go to sleep. Put them in the dryer. So he comes home. He had to work late. I've been with this little munchkin since 7 a.m. When he got up, my husband comes in and I was like, can you go downstairs and grab washcloths and towels? And he comes back into my bedroom where I am and he walks in and he looks really sad. And I was like, you did not. Did you forget again? And he said, yes. I love my husband. But it's little things like this. And I just started crying and he was like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I'm just so frustrated. Over towels. Anyway, have a good night. It's bath time now. By the way, I thought I'd show you guys what we're using for washcloths. Hand towels. And adult size towels. It's great.
So I saw this video when I was scrolling through the wonderful world of TikTok, as I always say. And, I watched the video and I thought it was very interesting that she was talking about this. As soon as I heard, because it said something like she was having a meltdown, like on the thumbnail. And so when I saw that, I immediately was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I watched the video. And when I heard her begin to describe her feelings towards her husband and the situation of the video, and then when she got to the end of the video and was speaking about hand towels and the fact that she had adult towels, before I get into my thoughts about this and stuff, I just want to talk about that particular part. Your husband came from work, okay? Or actually, he's working. He's in the house and he's working. He has to be on video. He has to do whatever. And his office is where the washer and dryer are. My first impression when I heard her say that she had hand towels and a regular bath towel was, why didn't you think to just use that the first time? That's just my opinion. Okay, I'm just giving you guys my opinion first, my thoughts about this first, before we get into the breakdown. But my first thought was like, oh, so you had hand towels and a regular towel and you didn't use those and you had him doing it all over again and you washed the towels all over again and still left it in his hands when you knew he was working? This is what you call first world problems. Okay? This is clearly first world problems, because if he is working, and I'm not saying, obviously she's been with her child all day, like things can get hectic, you can find yourself doing a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to towels that are necessary, in my opinion, it would have just been logical to be like, okay, he forgot to put them in the dryer. Let me just use these towels and let me do it first thing in the morning when I get up so I can do it before he starts work. Or let me set an alarm for, whatever time when he gets off of work so that I can go in there and put them in the dryer because I know that he's working and he's tired. And since he forgot the first time, I don't want to put that pressure on him. Let me just go ahead and do it so that I can make sure that, since I want the baby's towels. But I also would have just used the towels that she's using now from the get-go. And it's a complaint for me. And I have to use an adult size towel. So, some people don't have towels at all. Some people have babies and they don't have towels. They got one towel. Okay? Some people have one towel. They got to wash and keep using that thing. These are really first world problems. And I'm going to say this. In her comment section, she definitely did not get the energy she thought she was going to get. This comment section was full of feminist women. Oh, he's so horrible. This is what I can't stand about men. Oh, how disgusting. Does he understand how hard it is for you to do your job? So you mean to tell me he forgot twice? You have to do everything? Oh, these men are terrible. These men are this and these men are that. Disparaging her husband. And whose fault is that? Yours. That was your fault. There was nothing in you that thought that, maybe this is going to paint him into a bad light. Or maybe this is going to show him in a way that, even though I'm finding it funny, because her take on this, right, is that she is bringing the story up, but she's more talking about herself in the fact that, she's crying over these towels. And in her mind, she's like, oh, it's kind of not really a big deal, even though it really is a big deal to her. Because maybe her husband is like, babe, it's not that serious. Are you really crying? When men have to come to women and give them that logical, are you really crying over towels? It's not that big of a deal. So she thought that was funny and decided to bring the conversation, and it turned around to everybody now thinking that this man is a horrible husband, that she is fighting for her life in her home over towels. Over towels. Make it make sense, because it don't make sense. And a lot of women do these things. A lot of women put pressure on themselves purposefully just so that they can say, oh, well, you didn't help me and you didn't do this. Women will have things mapped out, and just to say, I don't want to be doing everything by myself, they will inconvenience themselves just to say, oh, well, you don't even help me. You don't even do this, or you forgot. And for example, let's use this situation for example. Okay. It would have been a no-brainer. Let me just go get these hand towels really quick. They small enough. We can make it work. Let me use the hand towels. Let me use a big towel. And then in the morning, I'll go ahead and wash this. But because they don't want to have the burden of doing everything themselves, and because of what society says, and because of what their peers, oh, no, he can help me too. He can turn the dryer on too. He can do this too. For something as small as laundry, they will inconvenience themselves so it doesn't get done, put the burden on the other person, and then turn around and be like, oh, you couldn't even do that. You could never last a day in my shoes because when I asked you to do this, you forgot. Mind you, this man is working. His mind is probably on work. Men are not, they don't do the same things when it comes to multitasking. Women, that's why a lot of women have a lot of trouble with anxiety. That's why women have a lot of problems with feeling overwhelmed. Depression is because women think a million miles a minute on a million different things. Men being more stable and being more logical have the ability to think about this one thing keenly, and then when they're finished with this, they focus on this as well. This man working, trying to figure things out, trying to get the thing done, get the job done. He not thinking about them towels because it's not the end of the world if the towels aren't dried. I'm just being logical here. I'm not. Let me make the disclaimer. I'm not saying that a woman is not able to or should not ask her spouse for assistance when she needs it or when he can do it for her. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he couldn't have did the dry or whatever when he forgot. He's working, he's busy. But what was interesting to me is when I saw this video, in the comments, I saw another video that she was responding to somebody, and I want to show you guys that clip. So give me 1 second. Let me pull that clip up for you guys.
The sheer amount of hate my husband has gotten over the last few days is outrageous. Y'all, I posted a funny video where I'm making fun of him, and I even put it in the caption that I told him I was using it as content, and he said he deserved it. But it was just, he didn't turn on the dryer. Like, he does everything around the house when I take care of the baby. Like, he takes care of the house, he works. He does so much for me. But people are calling him abusive, toxic. They're telling me I need to divorce him. Like, I already know he has selective hearing. Last year in January, when I told him, hey, I'm going to go off birth control because I've been on it for forever. And when we got pregnant, he was like, I thought you were on birth control. And I'm like, we had this conversation, me and you.
Girl, I don't know what you're shocked for. I don't know what you're shocked for. And you know what makes it worse? What makes this whole situation worse is that she literally did not learn from the first video. She comes back in the second video and she bring up a whole nother thing, still telling his business. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of men are very knowledgeable about the fact that when you get too much women around each other, or when women start talking, they start talking too much. A lot of women don't know like what is too much to share, what they shouldn't share. A lot of women just talk too much. And when I say talk too much, I mean literally they talk too much, too often, too frequently. Gotta have the last word, gotta have the last say, gotta control everything, gotta nitpick everything in a nagging manner, but also in the sense that they overshare. You know why a lot of women get around each other and they can't agree with one another? Or, you see some people that have like quote unquote strong personalities, or women who get around and then there's like catty behavior after a while, or they can't get along. It's because a lot of women overshare. They say too much. They do too much. Now they give this person a foothold in their business, in their life, because they're the ones who allowed them in there, because they're the ones who gave them the information. And then when things go left, their feelings are hurt because now this person is talking about personal things that you told them. Men don't do that. Men be like, if I didn't know you since we was 5, I feel like I can't trust you. Like, if I didn't know you from way back when we was kids, you're not gonna be my coworker and I'm just gonna tell you everything. That's how men operate. Women don't operate like that. Women will know a woman for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and all of a sudden she know everything about that woman's husband, children, family structure, mom, dad, uncle. And then she did it again. Oh, when I told him about birth control, hello, you're still oversharing. You're not understanding. You clearly don't understand the environment that you are bringing all this information to. Clearly, you don't understand that. And it's not just this woman, you know. It's not. Because as I just said, women go to work and do this. Women go to the hair salon and do this. Women go to the nail shop and do this. Women go anywhere. To the gym. Once they get around other women and they start talking, once you see your woman starts going to lunch, just know that woman at the lunch table more than likely knows more information about you than you think she does. I'm just being honest. It's respectable when you're in a relationship and when you're in a marriage that you keep things between the two of you. Whether it's a joke, whether it's a this, whether it's a that, you keep things between the two of you, because what happens is people start to create their own opinions or their own thoughts or feelings about this person because you're talking out of love because you love him. These other people don't love him. They don't know him. And a lot of these women on these spaces don't love men at all. They don't even like the idea of a man. So once you start giving them ammo, they are running with it. And now you have to come back and be like, I was just being funny. It was just a joke. All he did was, he just should have turned the dryer on. He just forgot. He has selective hearing. Well, if it was all those things, what was the point of talking about it then? What really got me when I had to make up my face was when she said, he does everything for me. He's the one that works. I take care of the baby. He literally does everything for me. Although you were talking about a joke about his selective hearing, you were really crying in that video. There was real mascara running from your eyes in that video. Now, listen, as a woman, I know sometimes women are just hormonal. It could just be that time. It could just be the wrong day. You could already have been in your feelings and you just crying, not really because of the situation, but just because of what's going on with you. And I completely get that. But when you brought that conversation to the platform, women are seeing that as, oh my gosh, this is an overwhelmed mother. Maybe she's going through depression, postpartum. Maybe she's doing this. She obviously is crying because she obviously needs help. I hope he's not belittling her. I hope he's not using his narcissistic tactics. That's what people are seeing. The video was not even prefaced with like, y'all, I love my husband. He does everything for me. I really should not even be complaining about this. I shouldn't even be making this video about this because my husband does so much for me. But let me tell y'all what happened. There was none of that. And what do women do? Women see a woman that looks wounded and they run to her aid, without paying attention to all the details of the conversation, without caring about the fact that the man was at work, without caring about the fact that the man had duties, without caring about the fact that whatever he had going on, none of that mattered. The only thing that mattered is, oh, there's a woman that's crying and we have to get the bad guy who did it. This what she get. Okay? This what she get. She feels some type of, obviously she didn't learn from this conversation. Maybe she will see and learn to read the room. But you done came online and you literally humiliated your husband to a lot of people for no reason. And then days later, you try to backpedal. Women say that they support women, but they only support single women. Women don't support married women. Women don't support marriages. And when I say women, I don't mean all, obviously, because hello. But I mean the majority of women out there, on social media especially, they do not support marriages. They don't support a woman being with her husband. All they want to do is get in and be divisive. They love to be divisive and divide the woman from the man and make the husband the enemy so that she could be a single mother just like y'all. That's what they love to do. Can't y'all see that? How come you have to wait till something like this happens for you to understand how women are operating? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and of course give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you guys hit that post notification bell so that it will notify you every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you.